production designer student, and I'm gonna interview Kyle Ransbottom. Yeah, and he's a scenic designer here in Garden Theater. So, hi.
Hi.
I'm gonna ask you some questions about your profession. What is your current job title or position?
So I'm a freelance scenic designer. I work often here at the Garden Theater. I also work for Universal Creative, which is the department within Universal that develops new shows and attractions.
Oh, great. And how long have you been in this role?
I have been a freelance designer for about 7 years. I started in 2012 when I graduated college. I have been living in Orlando and working down here for about 2 years now.
2 years.
Yep.
So, what's your education? What's your major?
I have my kind of undergraduate degree is just in general theater, and then I have a master's in scenic design from Purdue University.
Could you please describe your career path?
Sure. So when I was in college, I worked in our scene shop, so I helped build things, and kind of through the course of that, I discovered I really enjoyed designing sets, but I kind of got into it late in my career at college. So I didn't have much of a portfolio when I graduated. So I worked at a lot of community theaters. I was in North Carolina at the time, so I worked at a lot of community theaters, and then I also worked at a haunted house for Halloween. And over the course of that, I discovered that I really enjoyed working in it's called themed entertainment. So the type of entertainment where like theme parks and things like that. So I was building up my portfolio to get into graduate school. So I got into graduate school in 2014 and worked and did that. It was a 3-year program. Graduated in 2017, and then I moved down here and been working in both theater as well as the themed entertainment industry.
You moved here because of your job, or?
Yes, I moved. Well, kind of two reasons. I moved to be a little bit closer to my family. They live down here in Florida, and then yes, I this is really the hub of the themed entertainment world. So,
do you work in a team or alone in a team?
So, yeah, really, even in both, even in theater, I would say I work on a team. So in themed entertainment, I'm very much a part of a team. It's really the role of in theater, what you consider a scenic designer is about probably 10 different positions in themed entertainment.
Yeah.
So there's people that there are people that just do the drafting. There are people that just do kind of concept art. So that those roles are really broken apart, very specific. In theater, I would say I work in a team, but it's with the other designers. They are the ones that. So you have a lighting designer, you have a sound designer, you have a technical director. So those who I would consider my teammates. So I think my role in that team is kind of twofold. So very specifically, I'm the one designing the set, and then two, I think specifically as a scenic designer, I often kind of have to really consider the other aspects of theater. So how is this going to look under light? How can as cool as it would be to just put a ceiling on a set, then the lights won't shine through. So it's trying to incorporate the other aspects of design. When I was in graduate school, we had a really good sound design program. So a lot of what I did was trying to hide speakers inside of my sets. So we would take pieces of architecture, and one of the sides of them would be a fabric that we would have to dye a certain color and things like that, so speakers could come out. Sound could
Well,
come
you
out.
have to understand about
I have to kind of very roughly understand about those things. I definitely, I guess, I try to operate under the assumption that I try to be an expert in what I do, and I trust that the other people are experts in what they do. So if they come to me and they say it needs to be this way, I trust them that not pulling my leg, and that that's
Mhm.
that's the way it needs to be.
Cooperative job. You have
Exactly,
to cooperate with them.
Yeah, it's it's such a collaboration. Yeah,
Mhm.
and I think it really helps the design because if it's just what I initially think and initially what I want to do, um, it's sometimes many designs I've done have gotten stronger because other people will have put an input or just they put challenges in the way, and I have to think about ways to go around those challenges.
Yeah. I have a question about it.
Okay.
Um, can you tell me some difficult situation that you experienced in your job?
Yeah. So I'll use this. I'll use the sound design program again. Um, they, when I was in school, they were very, very precise about where they would put things, put their speakers, and like I was saying, I trusted them that when they said this speaker has to be at this exact spot, I trusted them like it's got to be right there. And sometimes there would be a miscommunication, and so I would put things to hide speakers, but the speaker would be hung 3 feet
Oh my
differently
God.
where I thought it was going to go or where they thought the piece of scenery was going to. They weren't trying to trick me. It was just a miscommunication of like where things are going to land. Um, it was, luckily it never got super angry or anything like that. It was just kind of a, it was like, all right, one of us has to move something. And
But did you have to change it at the time?
so
or?
it varies. I think in that case, I think it was kind of like, no, this is where. I think the scenery one in that case. It was like, no, this is where I said it was going to. It was a tree, so it was a tree that a speaker was hidden behind. And it was like, no, this is where we said the tree was going to be, so the tree's not going to move. So they had to move the speaker in that case. Other times it is. Sometimes it would really look better if this was made, out of wood or something like that. But it's like, no, it's got to be fabric. Sometimes it doesn't always look as good. So I really enjoy that process of like making compromise. I guess I really enjoy that. And then I've had other times where things have just been built incorrectly, and it's like there are some designers that get not even that they get angry. They're just like, no, this is build it again, build it right. I enjoy that translation of like what I draw into reality. Things are going to happen, mistakes are going to happen, and sometimes things get better. Just through happy accidents.
Yeah.
Sometimes it looks cooler. So, but then there are also sometimes when you really have to put your foot down and say, no, you need to fix this mistake, or no, like I would say that I think over the last couple of years I've realized that not only am I the scenic designer and that I designed the set, I'm also I need to be the advocate for the set. So, maybe ultimately it's kind of up to the director, it's up to the producer of the play to make the kind of final call. And I kind of have to trust that the lighting designer is going to speak for the lights. They're going to speak for the sound. So sometimes you need to stand in and say like, maybe I won't get what I want, but like I need to defend the scenery the best I can and speak for what's going to be best for the scenery. So
To fight for your
exactly, you gotta fight for what you want.
Yeah.
And I don't want to get pushed around. I don't want, because at the end of the day, it'd be a lot easier if they just said, well, what if we don't do this? What if we don't do this? And if you do that too many times, it won't end up looking like your design. So.
What career accomplishment makes you proud?
I was really proud when I got my master's degree. That was 3 years of really intense work. Trying to think here. A lot of what I'm working on down here in the themed entertainment world hasn't opened yet. So it's a little. I'm gonna be proud when it's done, but it's not done yet. I tell you, one thing is it's kind of a weird story, but for Universal's Halloween Horror Nights, my old company, this wasn't actually working for Universal, it was for a different company, we built this huge big spaceship for their Halloween thing. And built it really fast. I think we built it in 3 weeks, and it looks like it's like crashed into the ground and stuff. And it was really the first thing that. Well, there's two. I'll give you 2 stories. It was one of the first things I ever got to see like inside a theme park. This is so cool.
Do you have pictures?
I do have pictures of it. And then the second thing was, this is going to sound really silly. I built just a post to like hold up a roof, and it's in Disney World. And there was just something about like, just as a child, like growing up, like Disney World is this like big, fantastical place, and then to walk down Main Street and look and be like, I made that post. I made it up. It was that was for some reason that was just so cool, and I have a picture of me standing next to the post. And like,
This is mine.
Yeah, I made this one.
What advice do you have for students who want to have this career?
I would say don't limit yourself specifically to theater. I would say, and if you love theater and you're very passionate about it, that's great. So I'm not trying to say that theater's bad or anything like that. I love theater, but I think look at it as kind of a set of skills, and not just like practical skills, but also just collaboration. Like we talked about that. Theater is extremely collaborative, and I've got into job interviews that aren't necessarily about theater and said like, I work with 12 other people and they all want something different, and through this collaboration we work and we figure out, and it's better when you have those different voices. So anyway, I would say like look at that set of skills, and try to apply it. I just love applying it to weird things. So that's how I ended up in my kind of current job at Universal. Was like I started at that haunted house just because I was like, haunted houses need painters, and I was poor, just graduated college, and I was like, I need a job, and so I was like, I'll work at this haunted house, and I fell in love with it, and I said, well, this is so cool. This is like a set, but the people actually walk through it and they can look all the way around. So what I'm trying to say, I guess, is like, don't feel limited. Put yourself in kind of strange situations, and maybe you'll hate it, but maybe you'll love it too. And then the second is, as I said, my original degree was just in general theater. So I had to act, I had to direct. I did have to do lighting design and costume design and stuff like that. It's so much easier. It's really easy to get frustrated if you're doing props and actors keep breaking all your props. And you say, why, actors, why are you breaking this? So go out there and take an acting class or act in a play, and you'll understand, like, sometimes you just really get into it.
The other side.
Exactly. And the flip side of that is, like, really encourage acting students to take production classes and realize if you break something, it takes a lot of work to fix it. And, prop people put a ton of work into stuff. So yeah, I guess it all kind of boils down to is, especially when you're young, try to take as many experiences as you possibly can, and try not to pigeonhole yourself super early in your career. Try unique stuff, weird stuff. Travel if you can. That would be nice. Well, I had the opportunity when I was in school. I went to there's a big thing in Prague every 4 years called the Prague Quadrennial, which is theater from around the world all comes to Prague, and it's kind of like a World's Fair almost, but it's like countries will bring it and will say, this is some of the best theater we've done in the past 4 years, like design-wise, and it's so cool to see not only what other countries are doing, but also just how they interpret it. So my interpretation of this is the last 4 years, this is the best theater we've done, that's a very kind of United States way of looking at it. I remember the Brazil booth. It was really, really cool. That was actually one of my favorites, and it won. It won competition. It was one that I forget, but all it was it was so unique. It was this giant ramp, and one side was filled with masks, like Halloween masks. The other side was a man wearing a mask in a dress with a whip, and he was just whipping the side of this giant ramp. And I don't know why.
And you'll never forget.
Yeah, exactly.
You forget it.
You never forget it. But it's also like that country said like, yeah, this is a good representation of us. Like, this is the type of thing we want to send. Which is like, as someone from the United States, I'd be like, well, you did more than just this one thing in the last 4 years. Why are you just showing us this one thing? But it was just so unique to see all these different voices and things, and just kind of, if you think of it like education, like how people interpret the prompt of like, bring something to this thing. And
Different
voices. Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's what it all boils down to for me. Is just like, try and get as much experience and do as much as you can, but also watch and listen to as much as you can. I think it's really good.
What do you like most, and what do you like least?
In doing
Yeah,
theater? Let's see. For a long time, I hated drafting, which is just drawing out the set itself, very mechanical. I was in grad school, and it didn't matter how much work I put into it ahead of time. I was always staying up the night before, pulling an all-nighter. Just didn't matter. I was always doing an all-nighter. And so I hated it. But now I kind of enjoy it. It's very like methodical and just like, don't zone out because it actually is. You have to think. But I don't know. It's kind of, you just kind of get in the zone. So I would have said drafting is my least favorite part. I think now it's, I guess I do. I both love details and find details very annoying. I think I default to being kind of a big picture person, just saying like, I want it to look like this, and just like, you draw the pretty picture and you say, make it look like that, and then you have to go to like a website for the Home Depot or something and pick out the exact type of grill you want or something like that. It can be a little frustrating, but also kind of fun. And then the thing that I love is the collaboration. So I love sitting with the room with the director, 6 months early from the show opening, and just blue sky. It can be anything at this point. I love the potential of a kind of blank piece of paper, and the set could be anything at that point. I think it's really
You can create anything.
Exactly.
Good. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. This is fun.